10 years?
However long she's been recording. That's when I met her.
Well, don't you remember how long it was?
Yeah, when I met her. I mean,
Was it 5 years ago? Was it?
I met her 10 years ago.
How does Jay-Z sit down with Gayle King and she not ask him one question about the intersection between him?
Jay-Z denies allegations he sexually assaulted a 13-year-old, I was about to say boy, but it's not a boy, it's a 13-year-old in 2000.
Well, yeah, I started, even in my beginning, I just lived such a rich life, a full life.
The entertainment industry is reeling from a wave of shocking allegations that have already implicated major figures like Diddy and Jay-Z in a bombshell lawsuit. The latest revelation, with the victim naming Jay-Z as an alleged perpetrator, has sent shockwaves through Hollywood. As legal analysts and the public speculate about the involvement of a third celebrity, the victim's courage in breaking her silence is fueling growing calls for accountability. With the pressure mounting following Diddy's recent legal struggles, more names may be exposed, potentially leading to a seismic shift in how the industry handles abuse.
It's very subtle, Vinny, but you can detect Jay-Z indicating, again, you really got to read between the lines, that he's not going to negotiate, right? It's hard to see, but it looks like he's not going to negotiate. But there's a line in here. I love to dissect these things. And first of all, I think this was written by a spokesperson, taking nothing against Jay-Z and his capabilities, but this really appears to be written by a legal publicist. This is the way they write. This is their style. So one of the things he says is, I implore you to file criminal, not civil. And when I saw that this morning, I didn't have time before the show, but I wanted to look up the statute of limitations, Pat, and to see whether this is chargeable. I don't know. I actually do not know at this hour. But when I see something like that, I go, oh.
The lawsuit accusing Jay-Z of sexually assaulting a 13-year-old girl has thrown his carefully crafted public image into turmoil. The victim's decision to name Jay-Z alongside Diddy has intensified scrutiny and speculation over why these revelations are surfacing now. Legal experts suggest that Jay-Z's inclusion could point to a broader pattern of abuse and cover-ups within the entertainment elite. The bravery of the victim in naming such high-profile figures highlights the gravity of the allegations and raises the stakes for others who may still be deciding whether to come forward.
And we end in the world of hip-hop as rapper Jay-Z is embroiled in a legal storm. A woman who has already accused music mogul Sean Diddy Combs of raping her has now named Jay-Z in the same lawsuit. The woman claims that both Sean Combs and Jay-Z sexually assaulted her at an after-party following the 2000 MTV Video Music Awards when she was just 13 years old. The lawsuit filed in New York claims Jay-Z allegedly held the victim down and assaulted her while Sean Combs watched the heinous act unfold. Though Jay-Z has dismissed all allegations, calling them targeted blackmailing, the story is far from over. Here's our final report with more.
For the first time, the accuser has spoken publicly, sharing the emotional toll of carrying these memories for years. Her testimony offers a raw glimpse into the feelings of powerlessness and isolation she endured, galvanizing support and increasing attention to her claims. It also raises crucial questions for other potential victims who may now feel emboldened to come forward.
The first drink started to have some effect on me, and I just thought, wow, these are really strong drinks. It wasn't until the second drink, and it was already too late, that I realized that there was something wrong with the drinks. Sean Combs was waiting in the wings. He was watching from some sort of vantage point. And once I was in a helpless position and he was sure that he was in a position of power, then he took advantage of the situation.
Definition of, if you want to make something happen, you got to put in that work and make it happen. So I come to you with love and in love.
Jay-Z's response, claiming blackmail, has been met with mixed reactions. His denial has done little to calm public outrage, with critics arguing that his focus on blackmail detracts from the severity of the allegations. Some see his statements as a sign of desperation, suggesting he may be feeling the mounting legal and public pressure.
Beyonce has a deal there, and I know her. So, but you know,
How long have you known her?
Wow, a long time.
How long? 10 years?
However long she's been recording. That's when I met her.
Well, don't you remember how long it was?
Yeah, when I met her. I mean,
Was it 5 years ago? Was it?
I met her 10 years ago.
But did you say to yourself at that time, "Wow"?
That's a fantastic talent.
Was that what you said?
Yeah.
As two major celebrities are already implicated, speculation is rife about the possible involvement of a third. Analysts believe the victim's decision to name Jay-Z years after the alleged incident may be a strategic move, inspired by Diddy's legal battles and a growing sense of hope for justice. This could embolden her to expose more individuals, challenging a system that has long shielded the powerful from accountability.
Have been shocking to you that somebody comes on a show and then kind of levels these vague-ish allegations? Were you kind of ready for something like this to eventually happen?
Listen, there's rumors and then there's nonsense, and this is one step further, right? This is a pointed and formal accusation of something, I felt it needed to be responded to. So I think somebody reported it was a cease and desist. It wasn't that. It was quite bluntly an ultimatum, which is remove that false accusation that's demonstrably false, or a court's going to order you to. And so I think he made the wise choice and acted accordingly.
He meaning Piers Morgan.
Removing it and apologizing for it, yes. What changed here in my mind is that somebody on a so-called journalistic platform exploited, they not only caused harm here, but they are also droning out the voices of real victims. And by doing that to get clicks, it didn't just harm the Carters. What he did effectively was to drone out the voices of actual victims in an ongoing case, in an ongoing investigation. And that was too much for me.
Are you in the process of making sure that it is taken down everywhere?
What I am here to say is that in a situation as serious as this, somebody who puts themselves out as a journalist should not effectively take advantage of the situation and exploit somebody in this way. And so that's the real reason for action.
Does it strike you a little bit that there's been a lot of silence in Hollywood in the wake of all of this?
Well, as to the Carters, I can tell you that when they put their foot down on something as they did here, they are sending a message. And if they can't stand up and make sure right from wrong, then who can? I have always believed that the truth will.
The scale of potential victims in these scandals has raised alarms, with some experts suggesting the number could be in the thousands. These claims align with the increasing calls for transparency and justice in Hollywood, shedding light on what some view as a deeply ingrained culture of abuse and secrecy.
How does Jay-Z sit down with Gayle King and she not ask him one question about the intersection between him and Aaliyah and Robert Kelly? This is insane that people keep refusing to see what's right there. If the Me Too movement were real, why aren't they speaking now? They've also been very quiet in this time of the Diddler's downfall.
Jaguar,
Guess they're on vacation.
If this goes to court, Jaguar, do you think the world is going to be shocked by what comes out?
Oh, absolutely. I just don't know why they are. It's been happening in front of everyone's faces for decades. For decades.
How many victims?
What's the difference between me and Judy Garland? Social media.
How many victims?
There was none for her. Unconscious. There's a lot of things that people don't want to talk about, Pierce.
Listen, like I said, Jay-Z and Beyonce are not here, unfortunately, to respond to that.
I know. I'm just being honest with you.
You're perfectly entitled to your views, obviously. Kim Porter,
yes.
A new book claims that Diddy may have been involved in her early death. What do you think of that?
I think people should really look into that more. I am friends with Albie Shore. I love him. I love his children. I knew Kim. We used to all hang out together at the Kit Kat Club back in the mid-90s when Diddy was first starting his reign.
Jay-Z, once seen as a symbol of success and respectability, is now facing serious scrutiny. Allegations of troubling interactions with others have surfaced, leading to questions about whether his behavior has been overlooked or enabled by those around him.
ABC News was the first to report that Jay-Z is being accused of raping a 13-year-old girl at a party back in 2000.
Tonight, NBC4's Camilla Rambaldi is in our newsroom with more on the new lawsuit. Camilla.
These accusations highlight the immense challenges faced by victims who go up against powerful figures. Diddy's ongoing legal troubles have set a precedent, offering the victim a glimmer of hope that justice can be served. As the entertainment industry's untouchables are forced to face consequences, it may inspire others to come forward, pushing for a reckoning that has been a long time coming.
Jay-Z denies allegations he sexually assaulted a 13-year-old, I was about to say boy, but it's not a boy, it's a 13-year-old in 2000 with Sean Diddy Combs. So the story says that. Rob, if you can pull up the story with this. Okay, so a lawsuit filed against Sean Diddy Combs now alleges if he can find their response, because Jay-Z actually responded. There's actually a response, and I want to read that.
It was
for
Rock
the
Nation,
audience.
right? And I think they might have taken it down after. Just give.
I have it. I have it anyway.
No, yeah,
so
okay.
If you don't have
Okay.
it, I have it.
Okay.
But it should be someone for him to respond. So, okay, Sean Diddy Combs now includes allegations that Jay-Z, Sean Carter sexually assaulted Jane Doe, who was 13 at the time, at an after-party 2000 Video Music Awards. Doe alleges she felt woozy after consuming a drink, then wandered into a bedroom where Carter raped her first, followed by Combs. Carter called the allegations so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one, and said whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Frivolous lawsuit and accusations of harassment against Doe's legal team. It states Jay-Z responded to said letter by orchestrating a conspiracy of harassment, bullying, and intimidation against plaintiffs' lawyers, their families, employees, and former associates in an attempt to silence plaintiff. In his statement to CNN, Carter labeled the mediation effort a blackmail effort and remarked that those lawyers seem to have a pattern of these types of theatrics. Is this their response, Rob?
Yes.
And is this from him? Because he actually responded.
I think because it says my lawyer received a blackmail attempt.
Yeah,
So
this is what it's saying. The internet is saying that this is Jay-Z's response.
Can you zoom in a little bit, Rob?
Sure.
My lawyer received a blackmail attempt called a demand letter from a lawyer named Tony Busby. What he had been calculated as the nature of these allegations and public scrutiny would make.
Jay-Z's blackmail defense has added another layer of complexity to the case, with public opinion divided over whether this is an attempt to deflect or a genuine defense. The debate has sparked questions about what true justice looks like and whether public figures can truly avoid accountability.
And 2 exclamation marks. Jay-Z is heated! He continues. These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. 2 exclamation marks. Ooh, good point. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree? Ooh, that's also a really good point. Although, isn't there such a thing as statute of limitations? The alleged incident between Diddy, Jay-Z, the unknown female celebrity, and the 13-year-old minor happened in 2000. That's 24 years ago.
Legal experts point out that the timing of the victim's accusations against Jay-Z seems strategic, aimed at building momentum for more revelations. The possibility of naming a third celebrity is seen by some as a culmination of years of trauma and silence being transformed into empowerment. This journey is not just about individual justice, but about exposing the broader culture of complicity and abuse within the entertainment industry.
Well, yeah, I started, even in my beginning, I just lived such a rich life, a full life, that, my first album I came out, I was 26, and I had seen so many things in the street. So my attitude was like, man, I've seen so much, and, I don't have anything to prove. I know who I am. I'm a very self-aware person, so when you're self-aware, even when you're dealing with someone's ego, you know when to allow it to you allow their ego to live in its own space. You know, it's the problem is when you engage that energy, that's when there's a problem. If you engage the ego with your ego, then it's like, okay, now something has to happen. It could keep escalating to a level that can be irreversible. You know, but if you don't engage the ego, if you know how to manipulate or play around with the ego, or
that's weird in
energy,
itself to people.
and you give light back to darkness, you
Right.
know.
And people are bringing all of that wild energy into a room, and you just take a step back into the shadow a little bit and just let them do that. They would almost take offense to that. Why are you playing along? Why aren't you getting involved in this? Did you have experiences like that where people thought, I don't know how to take Jay. I don't know how to deal with Jay. He doesn't engage with us on that level.
Yeah, I'm sure, you know, and a lot of times what that also can be, you can misinterpret that as you know, arrogance. You know,
in its own way.
If someone doesn't engage you in the way that you believe they should, then people's like, he's arrogant. He's act like he's above everybody. Like, no, I just don't want to argue with you about stupid shit. Just really don't have time to argue. You know what I'm saying?
The possibility of a third celebrity being implicated in this case represents a pivotal moment in the fight for accountability in Hollywood. As the victim gains confidence from the public's growing support and the unraveling of Diddy's legal troubles, more revelations seem inevitable. One thing is clear: the walls that once protected the powerful are beginning to crumble, and the fight for justice is far from over. The impact of these allegations could reshape the entertainment industry forever.